Let's see here. Okay, I think we're going here. I think we're almost there. I'm not quite seeing what I want to see, but we've never done a live one actually. So let's just be patient here. Come on.
One moment. Are you ready?
All right. Well, I'm not seeing what I want to see. I don't know why it's taking so long. Oh, here we go. Okay, I think we're good. Maybe you could check.
Check. Yeah, I'm working on it.
there?
I'm working
Yeah.
on it right now. Yeah.
I'll introduce. So we're back, people. You guys are. I mean, this is good. I love it. Honestly, I'm having way too much fun. This is all out of love, but there's some haters on here. You know, it's all right. But you guys.
Hey, and like what I said earlier, one person's hater is an advocate on the other side of the coin.
No,
It's
of course.
important.
I mean, Eric came over here and is advocating the other side, but he's not hating.
Also, I loved the wee woo.
The wee
I
was
was
great.
dying.
But he nailed it. Like, he was so funny. Like, the minute he started it, I was like, oh my God, he's incredible. He has a funny sense of humor, dude.
Yeah.
He's great.
No, it was a good vibe.
Woo! Okay. We're back. If you're watching online, this is the first one we did live, so you know, we're putting it out there, people. But we're having fun. You know, we're talking about harmony, and we're talking about music. We're talking about perspectives. Again, let's set the record straight, because I think some of you guys maybe are misunderstanding me. Rob kind of maybe realized maybe I'm not being as clear as maybe I should be. So maybe you can help me.
Yeah.
You know,
Further implement what you're actually trying to say.
I will say though, I guarantee you most of these people haven't gone and watched half of my videos of me explaining in detail my point. And that being, let's set the record straight. I think you should do both. Okay. Your guys' idea of hearing it as one minor, we all get it, guys. This is not something new. Okay. We all understand. We all hear it like that, as you should. I agree. My point is, you should also realize and be able to hear that most of the time it's from the 6th or the 2, whatever you want, whatever we're saying, right? It's from the 6th most of the time. Most of these minor tunes, like Summertime, in my opinion, you know, when you learn to really hear it like that, in my opinion, that's going to open up your ears to really see the bigger picture, in my opinion. Okay? There's no right or wrong way. If it floats your boat, cool. If it doesn't,
also cool.
Jazz, prove it. I
Also
don't care.
cool.
I'm just saying, I think this really helped me, and I learned this from some of the best musicians I've ever played with in my entire life. No exaggeration. This is where I got it from, and these are some of the church guys, okay? They play by ear, and don't you dare say that that's not, you know, theory or educated. Like, I don't like that mentality, because first of all, it's kind of mad disrespectful, and second of all, the whole tradition of what we love comes from all this style of the way we hear things. That's my point, is that I find a parallel to that music and that way of approaching music with jazz. Anyways, I'm ranting. Robert Dove's here. I love this guy. He's one of the best sax players I've ever known.
Hello, everyone.
He's a good human, and he's super funny, and he's here. He's in town. We've been playing gigs. I love him. Matt Suarez, what up? Say hi to Matt. He's watching.
Prove it. What's up, buddy? Hell yeah. Welcome to the house.
So, Dove, what's up, man? What have you been doing? We got some gigs. What do we got tonight?
So I've been really lucky to be able to come back to my second home of San Diego. I currently live in Columbus, Ohio. So Midwest, child of the corn. Yeehaw. But really happy to be back in San Diego this week. I'm going to be playing at Dizzy's, which is the Dizzy's San Diego Club, which is actually the musicians union that they actually turn into a jazz club on Fridays and Saturdays, which is kind of hip that their local union room is doing that for them. And then also I will be playing 2 shows at Lulu's Jungle Room at the recently renovated Lafayette Hotel. So if you are in town and you are looking for an experience.
So wait, let's be clear. Tonight's Dizzy's.
Tomorrow is Lulu's.
There we go.
And then Sunday, I'm actually doing an afternoon hit at a place called Panama 66, which is a restaurant that is attached to the San Diego Museum of Art. It's a really cool space where you play outside and you're actually inside the sculpture garden, which is a really hip spot to play. Super inspiring. So
especially at the time because it's like sunset. And
it's a vibe. So if you're in town, would love to see you. It'd be cool to see you all. But there will also be posting on Instagrams and everything of the sort. So wow, I sound super old. You know, the Instagrams and the Facebooks and stuff like that. So yes,
let's get into it.
Oh boy. Thrilling.
Oh man. Okay, so Robert Dove.
Yeah.
You've been seeing all these videos. You've been seeing these remarks. You've been seeing.
Now, full disclosure, I have not seen all of them. So
okay, that's fine.
I gotta be clean with that and not be like I'm completely up to speed on this whole thing. I haven't.
I mean, I don't expect. I have a lot of videos over.
I'm just being real. It's just so the people know. The people know. But also, I think Louie, we were talking earlier. This is the first time you've had a non-chordal instrumentalist.
Well, yeah, we've only done 2 of these.
Well, I'm still saying it's still new. So it's a different thought process of how I relate to my instrument and harmony in its own right.
And that's a good point, I think, because it's nice to, everyone has their own way, that's the whole point.
Yeah. And also from the aspect of like, everybody's like, okay, well, who the hell is this guy who you haven't met me yet? So I went to school at North Carolina, Greensboro with Chad Eby and Steve Haynes at the Miles Davis Jazz Studies program for 4 year bachelor's. And then was basically playing on the circuit for 8 to 10 years full-time after that. When COVID happened, I ended up moving back to the Midwest just to kind of ease the tensions of, losing $150,000 overnight. And I've been working full-time as an artist once the economy started coming back over the last year and a half. And I'm booked solid basically from May through to October at this point, which is basically 90% of your season for the Midwest. So, and working on a couple extra rooms in Columbus and playing between like Columbus, Cleveland, Cincinnati, Pittsburgh, Detroit, Chicago, the works. So just so you guys know where I'm coming from, my approach to things, I'm just going to say it out of the gate, Louie. I think it's important, like you said earlier, again, at the end of the day, I'm just going to say it out this way. There's enough division in this country right now. I just want to have music be a fair playground for everyone. It's about the music. It's always about the music. And so as soon as it becomes, I know I'm no fun, but the music is fun and I want to keep it fun.
Playing, dude.
I know, but I still get to say it. So my thought process, because I have a very bizarre way that I have reorganized harmony in my head, because I took a year off the horn to kind of think about this and figure out what my voice was. And like and going back to the tonality versus modality reference from the previous episode, I think it's important to understand the tonality that you're in so you understand where your home is. That doesn't necessarily, it has to be one.
Yeah, see, this is the thing, is I feel like people don't think that I don't understand this. And it's like, guys, I understand that the tonal center, it's like, you want it to be in the 1. I get it. Okay, but and then when it's playing from the 6 or your guys' minor 1, whatever you want to call it, it's like, yeah, it does sound like that's the home. It should. That's the whole point.
Yeah.
It's a deceptive cadence, as you
as we talked about yesterday.
Right?
Yeah,
for all you classical buffs out there that are sitting here commenting like it's classical theory.
Yeah.
Okay. It's literally what I'm saying. It sounds, oh, whoa, it went to there. That sounds like it's home. But that's my point. We need to be specific, and that's what Eric was saying. I'm not being specific enough. Where I disagreed, I told him, I said, you're not being specific enough because you're just calling that minor 1, and it's actually the 6. And then if you're in A minor and you want to play F sharp over it, well, that's going to sound cool because it's a natural 6 over it. It has a Dorian sound to it.
Yeah, but now we're thinking too hard rather than just playing.
But we're not thinking hard because if you played it last night and you played, I don't remember what song we were playing, but you played.
Was it Passion Dance?
Which one was it? I don't know, but no, it was.
Because I went off the rocker on that.
It was one that was minor because we ended and then you played a 6 and I immediately played it and you looked at me and laughed.
Yeah.
So that's my point. It's like, it's not, it's
a Full House.
Oh, that's what it was.
It was Full House.
Yeah, it was Full House. Which, by the way, Wes Montgomery's tune Full House, we're playing the gig last night, just blaring in my face the answer. And I looked at you and I said, Rob, What is this from?
Well, and the other piece is and again, it's coming from a concept of a linear instrument. So it's a different, you're thinking chordal structure. I'm thinking line.
That's fine, but you knew what I was saying, and what was cool about that tune is it did both. It did 6 chord, and the whole point is you play B flat 7. You're playing it as if you want that D in there.
You can shape shift.
It's shape shifting, baby. I've been saying this in every video, though. This is why I don't understand why people are not getting it.
Yeah. So I mean, it works both ways, and again, that's a testament to a good written chart where you have the artist freedom to do that. But also, from an education standpoint, there's a reason why we have Western common practice theory. There's a reason why modality and tonality exists, because it creates a common language that's a basis across the board. Now, the other part of it, though, is as you feel more comfortable with that, you can talk the talk, and it really, really helps you to be able to explain what's going on with other musicians.
You're explaining the sounds, too.
Let me finish. So when we have that, what it allows us to do is it allows us to come to a common ground where everybody's on the same page of what's going on. When you run into the issue of trying to, I don't want to say pull a 6 or something like that. It's a matter of changing the perspective. The idea is to open it.
Yes.
The other part of it too is that we call this theory. There is no such thing as music law, which means that the rules can change at any point in time.
That's the whole point.
So working through that, we have, I would argue as artists, we have a responsibility to at least entertain the discussions rather than completely shutting down and locking everyone else out.
I agree.
On both sides.
I agree.
So that's where I'm coming from. And this is a phrase that was given to me by my former instructor, Chad Eby. Great tenor player, great musician, great human being. And I remember freshman year, I was kind of being a little bit of a snot. I'll admit it. But I was 18 and I thought I had more answers and questions. And now I'm just like, it's all questions at this point. I don't even remember, but he looked at me and he made a very poignant statement to me, and it will resonate with me for a long time. And he goes, small minds talk about people. Decent minds talk about events.
Yeah, that's the saying.
Great minds talk about
ideas,
concepts. Yeah, that's what he used, concepts.
That's the same word. Yeah.
And it hit me like a ton of bricks. And so I don't want to talk about like who's right, who's wrong, what feels right, what feels. It's the concept of discussing what makes sense. And why does it make sense? And again, music is all relative. So like, Louie, you may think of something one way and I'll go, you're completely out of your mind.
100%.
And that's okay.
I get it.
But as long as we all come to the end of the common goal and everybody lands where they're supposed to, whether it's 6, 1, 2, 4, whatever it is.
I agree.
25. I don't care.
I 100% agree. It's just that like, you know, when you introduce a new idea, it's like you can... Like that, I love that shit. I love when someone's introducing it in a new way, like you're saying. But it's just like I feel like some people are just like, no. It's like, guys, just give me a chance. Just hear it.
Yeah,
like, that's all I'm saying.
Well, and the other part of it too is like, I mean, I'm a jazz musician. I get it. Like I play jazz math. I play thousands of chords to 3 people. It is what it is. Okay, I have resigned to the fact that that's just going to be what it does. But you know what? It makes me happy. And that's really what happens. And the people that go to the shows, it makes them happy. And so that's really what it's all about. As an artist, we have responsibilities to be conductors of emotion. And we have incredible, incredible power on the populace. Because if you think about it, like, example, I have a gig back in Columbus. And this was... God, when was this? February? Yeah, at our local jazz club called Ginger Rabbit. Really cool little basement club in what we call the Short North in Columbus. It's an arts district. And I had a gentleman after our show came up to me. He goes, "I got laid off my job today." And
you were making him feel the feels.
He said it completely turned my day around from being probably one of the absolute worst days to your music was so genuine, it let me forget about it for a couple hours. And he wanted to thank me for it. Nice. And it's like, it hit me there. I mean, I've had other instances over the course of my career, but I've had instances where it's like, art is humanity. And if we're not doing things to take care of the human populace, especially right now, and I don't even want to talk about last night, right?
Hey, Thomas's comments still of this
funny.
Great.
But
Thomas, if you're watching, you're
not
cracking me up, bro.
I'm not
Wait,
presidential material.
What did he say though?
No,
the real presidential debate.
But that's not the case, man. I'm just a dude trying to find his way through the music.
Just a dude playing a dude playing another dude.
Robert Downey Jr. But I mean, even from that aspect, I'm coming at it learning an art that is not that originally wasn't my art, right? It's like I came listening to jazz music, and I was talking to somebody about this the other day. I have terrible imposter syndrome as a middle class Midwestern white dude playing Black American music. I was talking to somebody about that. It's just one of those things that you have to think about.
Yeah, but jazz is for everyone.
But you also have to understand the shoulders in which you stand upon.
I did not disagree.
Yeah,
and
I know. I'm just stating that for
to
the
be
record.
honest, this is my whole fucking point.
So
my whole point is what? It's that I learned this from the church guys, and in my opinion, these guys play in what I believe to be the style and the mentality and the way that it would have been played back then. Somewhat. I'm not saying that these guys...
Yeah, but we also don't know that for sure.
No one knows.
Yeah.
I know that they were reading and writing music and getting very complex. Dizzy and Monk and they were thinking very hard about it. And to say that they weren't is a big mistake. So when people say...
I would argue sometimes, though, there's I mean, and again, you might have to have one of those guys on this because I'm not going to speak on their behalf.
I'm just saying that I know that they did both. They were very analytical and they were very... they played from the heart and they played what they heard.
Well, and then that's the beauty is when you get the combination of the two.
And that's what I've been saying.
Yeah. So, but understanding that's an important piece to understand because we've had some comments of like, play to make people feel good. That's the end game. I mean, otherwise, what the hell are you doing? Right?
Okay. I want to know how you think about harmony, though. Like, let's get into it. Like,
okay.
Let's talk about a song because we can talk about scales and all this other mumbo jumbo. But I need actual proof, and I need like.
Well, that's the problem. Is you're looking for proof. You're proof in a theoretical concept. No, I can show you examples.
No, listen. Yeah, that's what I need.
Okay.
Music.
Well, let's use the right stuff.
We play
then.
songs.
Let's use the right stuff.
So let's talk about a song.
Okay. What song do you want to talk about?
I don't know. Okay. We talked about. I have several lists of songs. One of them being "Summertime." Everyone knows that song.
Fun fact, I hate that song. I
Sure,
can't stand
whatever.
it.
I
can't stand it. Sorry for those of you that love Summertime. It is not my cup of tea.
Whatever.
It's a beautiful tune. Just
point is you know
overplayed.
the song.
Yeah. Okay. Please continue.
Autumn Leaves.
Yep.
Songs like this.
Okay.
I'm curious, how does Robert Dove, Bobby D, how do you approach songs like this? How do you think about things? How do you hear it? How just come on.
I think very simple. From a harmonic aspect, I think it's a combination of tonality and modality, if you really want to go that way. Tonality meaning that you have a set of relative pitches based on a bass note, right?
I get what...
No, I'm just saying, I'm just further hitting it home so people know what's going on.
People don't think I don't understand.
I'm not saying it for
it's
you.
Like, I get what the
saying. But that's my point. So I want to make sure that when I'm throwing these words out, that's what's happening. So tonality, pitches based on a common tone, right? You know where the gravitas is going to land you. You know that where you're going to cycle into. Sometimes it can be perceived as 1. Sometimes it can be perceived as 6. Hell, it can be perceived as 4. I don't care. Okay. Right? So understanding that, I, as a linear instrumentalist, I think in chord blanketing and I think in approach tones. Mm-hmm. That's all I think about. Mm-hmm. So if I see like very basic concept, if I'm thinking 2/5, okay, right? I have worked on both conceptual wise, but also linear wise. Like, how do I approach that? Do I want to approach like, so as an example, 2/5 and C, right? Okay, right. D minor 7, G7, C, right?
Cool.
Ta-da.
Got it.
Cool. Good game. I mix and match things. I will push whether it's like, do I want to hear the 2? Do I want to approach it as a 5 of 5? understanding that there's going to be some rub in there, because the whole thing of what I think about is harmony and rhythm is basically just a giant tension release act.
Of course.
That's all it is.
Yeah.
So I'm not in a hurry to basically play exactly the changes. Now, if the tune in the tradition in which it was written for calls for it, I'll play the game. But it also depends on the band that you have. It depends on a lot of inside and outside factors for me. So, like, perfect example. We were playing, I'm going to switch tunes on you.
Go.
But, like, we were playing Recordame a couple weeks ago, and my good friend Dean Hewlett, great bass player. Been very fortunate to work with him for the last decade. Him and I are notorious for breaking forms on tunes because we feel like it, because it feels good. And we basically played Recordame, and we decided to use my solo. He kind of decided, and I went with it, which was great. It was a great musical decision.
It's fun.
And everybody bought in. But you're basically playing that last, lack of a better phrase, 2-5 in the last two bars. And I played anything but it for the first probably 5-6 cycles. Because what it did is it created this
big tension,
this pull the whole time. And I could physically watch the audience sit up because they're like, wait, something different is happening. What is this that has a hold of me right now? And then you give it back to them. And again, Chad gave me the great concept of he's a very analytical guy. It's funny because he talks about being very conceptualized, but I actually thought he was very analytic. But he thought about harmony and rhythm are a rubber band that's pulled on an x-axis and a y-axis, right? And I mean, and we know that if you take a rubber band and you pull it as hard as you can, what happens to it? It snaps, right? Well, if you pull the harmony too far away from where it's going to go, where it wants to go, what happens? It doesn't sound right.
It snaps sound-wise.
It snaps sound-wise, right? So his rule was the further you go out, the faster you have to come back, both rhythmically and harmonically. And so that's the approach that I have. So I'll do a lot of things that are quote-unquote inside, but then all of a sudden I'll throw a monkey wrench harmonically, and everybody just goes, whoa, what was that?
I love that about your playing.
But
I hear that.
But that's how I build it.
Yeah.
So
I like that.
When you hear the conceptual stuff, I also have entry and exit points based on chords and analyses. So like I've done the homework to understand where my guide tones are, where my tonalities are using chord blanketing in a tune, right? I know where those are. And I'll listen because sometimes the band will go in a different direction. Like Dean will actually throw a 6 chord in when it sometimes should be a 1. Doesn't mean it has to be, but it was.
Yeah,
and so we ran with it.
And can I interrupt for a minute?
Yes, go.
I think that you should be able to hear if it's a 6 chord or if it's a 1. That's my whole point.
Yeah.
It's like, and people like Dean who have impeccable ears will hear everything. And that's my point. We need to be specific. Like Eric said, we have to be specific about these sounds because when you are, it opens up your palette and you have so much more colors to work with because you know exactly what these sounds are.
True, but I also don't want to be so specific where you're
stuck in
where
it.
you're locked.
I agree.
So sometimes though, even thinking of it as minor 6 is maybe not a good thing.
I agree.
It goes both ways.
100%. But the thing is, you said earlier when we were maybe yesterday, there's a ceiling, and if you want to break it, say that because 100%.
Well, and there's a little bit of a caveat to this before I go in and explain that because you have two different sides of this coin. You have education and you have performance. I think that those are two separate things. I'm not saying that they should be completely segregated or divided. I think there's equal parts to the education and performance because I would argue I learned so much more crap on the bandstand.
I 100% agree.
So
this is where I learned this is from playing with the church guys.
Yeah, well,
who don't write anything out. They don't read. That doesn't mean they don't know what they're doing.
And I think my first foray to it was when I first moved here, and Gilbert Castellanos, great trumpet player, looks at me and goes, "Hey, do you know this tune?" And I go, "No." And he just looks at me and hands me his phone and his headphones, and he goes, "You have 20 minutes."
Yeah.
Go.
Exactly.
And it was that type of stuff that like it was the ultimate drop the needle.
Exactly.
For those of you that have had to deal with those exams before. But that is a skill set.
And that's what I'm saying though. It's all about your ear. And that's what I'm trying to convey is that you need to be able to hear the differences between this. It's not just one.
No, well, I mean, but you can also you can think one, but last night, perfect example, we were playing Freedom Jazz Dance. Now, granted, I know
we didn't play Freedom, Passion Dance.
Or Passion Dance, sorry, not Freedom Jazz Dance. Oh my God. Oh, Sorry, huge faux pas right there. Wrong tune.
That's fine. Who cares?
I know, but it's the
They've all
different
out dancing. What are you talking about?
Right. But at the point of it though is like in the middle of playing that tune, it's like the chord. It is a change. That's all it is. There are no changes.
It's just
it
F.
Is, it is.
You just
F,
play F.
Right. But I was playing in like. For tenor players, it's G, just for the sake of me speaking in my key.
Okay, let's talk G. Yeah,
okay,
of course,
speaking in my key.
Yeah.
Like, I was implying Locrian off the 2. I was implying major 3 off the 1.
Mm-hmm.
I was implying, oh my God, what wasn't I
So you say you're not a
picking?
chordal player, but these are all chords.
Well, yeah. Well, arranging was part of my degree.
I know. I'm just saying.
So,
Though, this is what I love.
But the thing is you think of it as a one strike. I have to think of it completely linear because my horn is vertically stacked.
Of course.
So for me,
We do that too on guitar though when we're not playing chords.
true. Yeah. So that's one of the balances that you have. But like last night, it's like, okay, I could stay completely diatonic and stay in that tonality.
Right, but that gets boring after a while.
Well, it's not a matter of boring. It's safe.
Yeah, exactly. Like Eric brought up the point of Bolivia, or I brought up the point because I'm all about tunes. You know,
Okay.
he said, "Well, what about if you're playing modally?" And it's like, I get what you mean. You're thinking one sound, you know. And I said, "Oh, like because he said a dominant chord, like G dominant." I said, "Oh, like Bolivia," because in my head, G dominant.
Okay.
I'm like, "Oh, that's Bolivia." You know what I mean? The whole first, you know.
Yeah. See, for me, I go a totally different approach. So like, you say dominant. I'm already. When
Well, that's
you said,
what we were talking
No,
about.
no,
That's
I
what-
know.
yeah.
But I'm just saying, from where my brain is right now, when you said dominant, I'm like, okay, well, if you're in that means that you can actually imply that off the 7, off the flat 6, and all of a sudden now you're playing full altered.
Right.
Everything in the kitchen sinks there without even trying that.
But that's
hard.
what I'm saying is like, but the sound that you're still hearing is like you're
Yeah.
hearing it as G alter now, or you're hearing,
Yeah.
you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And I agree with Eric. It's like that's what you do.
Yeah, and we can talk about, and the other
part.
part of it is that we can, and I tell my students this, it's like, we can talk about harmony until the cows come home.
Right.
Right. And Ohio, that's like every night at 6, but that's beside the point. What you run into though, is at the end of the day, is music a visual art or is it an oral art?
It's an oral art.
It's an oral art. So why are we so concerned about what it looks like on paper? Just play what feels good.
I mean, it sounds like this is what I've been saying.
Just play what feels good.
That's what I've been saying.
If it sounds good, keep it. If it sucks, get rid of it.
100%. And everyone agrees what sounds and sucks different. You know?
Yeah,
but
for
that's
sure.
The whole
And that's
point.
and that's art.
That's
It's
the whole point.
subjective.
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah. It's like I'm not personally. This may be blasphemous as a saxophone player, but you're going to hear it here first. Charlie Parker is not the first person I want to listen to.
How dare you?
I know it's bad, and you guys can fleece me in the comments. It's what it is.
Oh, they will. Bro.
I know. I prefer if I'm listening to something like that, I prefer Cannonball, and I understand like Parker had a huge influence on the whole precipice that basically tipped the scales past his time.
Of course. Yeah.
So I'm not taking him out of the equation at all. It's just personally
Yeah. Preferences.
not my cup of tea.
Yeah, I get it.
And we know guys that Charlie Parker is like, he is the dude.
Mm-hmm.
So, and I respect that. It was just like, for me, I want to listen to something that's a little bit more open. I want something that's a little bit more subjective to harmony.
Mm-hmm.
Understanding that the bebop era was very specific with that. With Parker's style of stuff, because I mean, hell, he built it.
And I want to also be clear about this. Like a lot of the stuff we're talking about is like what we would be known as functional harmony, because like when we're talking about standards and like
sorry, yep, nope, fair, go, that's on me.
It's like, you know, we learn all these standards, Great American Songbook, and all these cool songs. And like they do, and this is where I agree with Barry Harris. They do show you the tendencies of harmony and they show you all the secrets. Because to me, all the secrets are in the songs and the solos. But that being said, a lot of what I'm saying is dealing with how to hear functional harmony well. But like, you know, once you get to a certain point, these guys were painting with other colors now. They want something more out of it. Hence the hard bop era and post bop and blah, 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 blah.
Joe Henderson's Inner Urge.
Exactly. So now at that point, you're painting with colors and, you know, you're kind of thinking like modes, kind of like Eric was saying. Right.
Mm-hmm.
And we get that, like 100% you should be doing that. Right.
Mm-hmm.
I'm just saying in functional harmony tunes that, like, you know, Great American Songbook tunes, they tend to move in some of the ways that I'm saying, I think, because, you know, that sounds good to us, and you can put words and phrases to certain sounds, and that's how you can communicate. For example, real quick, Cole Porter, one of his Cole Porter isms is minor 2-5, right? Or 7-3-6, how I hear it.
Okay.
No matter, whatever.
Yeah.
Like, for example, let's talk tunes, okay?
Okay.
Night and day.
Yep.
You can play D half diminished, G7, or you can play A flat major. You know, there's different little chord tones. But the point is, it's minor 2-5, but it doesn't go to C minor. It goes to C major. So it's like what I would
it's
call
a release.
Yeah, it's just he does that all the time though in his songs. He does an I Love You. He does a Night and Day.
Yeah,
it's like one of his isms.
Yeah,
you know.
When you're done, I got a fun fact about Night
Great,
and Day.
yeah,
Keep
and
going.
I think that to recognize that is important because when you're playing I Love You and you're not playing D flats and you're not playing as if it's going to F minor, but then it goes to F major, then you're fucking playing it wrong in my opinion because the whole point of that song is that sound. That's a Cole Porter sound that he likes, and the reason I know that is because I learned a lot of his songs and they're in all of his songs almost.
Yeah, but at the same portion, it's like I don't really feel that there's a wrong way to play a tune.
Right, but I'm saying if we're teaching students and and we're playing and you play
if we're
G
playing
half
in that,
diminished,
if we're playing through that straw of a vision for that specific concept, yes, I agree.
Right. I mean, again, you can play whatever you want, and a lot of the times when you get to a certain level, which I'm trying to get to, we're all trying to strive better.
Yeah.
You know, these guys, these pros that we all study, they go beyond what we're talking about. But the thing is you need to have certain fundamentals, and in my opinion, you should be able to hear these things in certain ways because for me, it's really helped. That's all I'm saying. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? And it's like I'm coming here with tune after tune. I can give you examples. So I'm still like. And the argument that everyone's saying is like, oh, well, you're just seeing it in your way. It's like, yeah, but that's my point is like, why does my way work every time?
Yeah.
And no one showed me a song that is in Whiner 1 where
Minor 1, not Whiner 1.
Minor 1 where my way doesn't, where I can't apply the kind of, the categorization or the lens.
Yeah.
Whatever you want to call it.
I always bring things back to science. It's like a polarized lens. It's like you have two lenses that are shifting this way, and you're going to have motions where you're going to be able to see things certain ways, and you're going to have things where you're going to see it another way, and then you're going to have to see it where you don't even see it at all. Mm-hmm. That's harmony to me. And we've talked a little bit about how I talk about windows and harmony for me for entry and exit points to slip.
Yeah.
Slip.
That was kind of a cool idea.
So, we may talk about that a little bit later too, but it's just, my thing is like, at the end of the day, there is no wrong way.
100%.
Yeah. So that's
what I'm saying. I think it's good to talk about these things because it's like, I feel like, I don't know, maybe it's just here in SD, but like no one really talks about this. Cause like I ask people on gigs, I'm like, hey, how do you think about this? Blah, 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 blah. What?
Well, no, it's kind of across the board. But my thing is like, when I'm back in Ohio, we talk about the shape of the community. We're talking about the concepts of like, okay, what are we going to do about our next shift in the scene? Mm-hmm. What do we want to do? Because at the same token, like the kids, quote unquote, are getting older, right?
Yeah, of course.
Like I traded Advil from Pop-Tarts a long time ago in the morning.
Wait, what?
Yeah. Back pain. My point is I'm getting old.
Okay. I didn't get it.
33. It's okay. Again, another Dovism. Surprise, surprise. So, the piece that we have is different places are going to have different conversations about different things, right? San Diego's scene, I would argue, is probably one of the healthiest in the United States from what I'm seeing. Okay. Just as somebody who used to be here, somebody who has watched it kind of grow, somebody that watched it go through a pandemic and then come out the other side. I mean, you've got a Young Lions program that's now fielding almost 150 students now. And there are some 15-year-olds that are just absolutely disgusting.
Yeah, it's pretty crazy.
And I don't want them to get caught into the crossfire of, well, it has to be thought about this way. And I'm not saying that's what we're doing. I'm just saying in general. Because at the end of the day, I talk about a concept, again, with my students called the artist's curve, okay? And it's kind of a conceptualized, so bear with me. But I think of like a 90-degree T-chart, right? And every artist that you listen to is a triangle. And if you know anything about polygons, right, the more triangles or the more flat surfaces you add to something, the more it becomes a curve. Right. And so what you're trying to attain is, how do I make that thing here look as much like part of a circle as possible? And that will actually really develop your own sound. Where it's like, well, we're only going to think about it this way. okay, you're now just a triangle. Like, you sound like somebody else. I'm not interested in having, if I wanted to listen to Coltrane, I'd listen to Coltrane. If I want to listen to you, I want to listen to you.
Right. And I think that's
right?
important.
And that's not just artistically, that's theoretically.
Right.
That's conceptualization at its root as well. So I think it's important that we still have these conversations and we keep it civil, because at the end of the day, like I said, these aren't laws.
100%.
Right? It's not gravity. It's not like I can just jump out the window and be like, oh, no, it's subjective. I'll be fine. It's like, no, we're on the second floor. Bad things are going to happen. Right? I mean, I have health insurance, but I'm not trying to use it. So, but it's those pipes. So, it's those type of things. So, but like harmonically, okay, let me regress real quick. So going back to Night and Day, did you know that Cole Porter actually had another version of that written before he found out Fred Astaire was going to be the one singing it?
No, I didn't know.
Yeah, he had it halfway written and then found out that Fred Astaire was the one that was going to be starring in, I think it was Gay Marriage in 32. And Fred is not known to be the most fantastic singer, which is why everything is written in stepwise. The biggest jump in that tune lyrically is a minor third.
Yeah, it's like
that's it.
The bridge.
That's it. That's it. And it was just to make something different. So there's a lost version of Night and Day somewhere, I guess, that's totally different. I think he just threw it out, but it was just like, I just found that fact.
I feel like
funny.
A lot of the Cole Porter tunes I've noticed they do what I really love. You know, it's the blues mentality. You're playing either, you know, from a minor perspective going to major, or you're playing from a major perspective going to minor. It's like he likes that sound, and it's cool.
Well, it's a quick way to stay within tonality, but also create a dynamic shift in the tune and the mood that it's in as well.
Of course.
So, but then you also have that point then, if you're considering, like, say I can't use a tune off the top of my head. I'm actually not the best with this compared to like where you are with pulling tunes off the top of your head.
It's only because I have lists of songs.
I hear you.
Dude, I've been doing this for years. This is what people don't realize is like I just kind of started posting this, but I've been thinking about this for a while.
No, that's fair. So like, but you have a tune that you may start in one, right? So say, for example, I mean, I got to find a tune that would make sense for this.
Well, say it and I'll think of one. Go.
Where you start in, like, as an example, like your root is the same between the A section and the bridge, but it goes to a minor tendency. Wouldn't that classify as minor one?
So you mean where it goes from like C major and then goes to C minor?
Yeah, it goes to a relative.
Yeah, so
that would classify as a minor.
What about Tenderly? I was about to make a video on this because it goes major, and then what do?
You shift to relative.
You shift to, it's not even relative, it's parallel, but like you're playing Aeolian from E flat now.
Well, and then that's the
whole thing. You're playing the B. You need the B when you play the F half to mid. That's the whole thing. It's flat six. It's God's note.
No. So, that's the thing is like you're coming from that specific perspective for that tune. So I need to be honest with you. I need to get my tune game stepped up a little bit better.
I mean, you know tunes. You're making it sound like you don't know tunes.
No, but I can't speak to them like this, and I'm just gonna be real with you.
It's just because because I'm interested. This is how my mind works.
That's fair.
And I've learned. I think the best way to learn this music is to learn the tunes and the solos. And when I go and play these gigs, and I see it everywhere, day after day, tune after tune, week after week, I just start. Well, look at that. There it is again. I write it down. Oh, there it is again. Another tune.
For me, I don't pay attention that much because I'm looking.
God damn it. Can you shut that window, please? Sorry.
One moment, please. I'm just kicking things.
Don't mind me. Just careful of your sex.
Yeah, I just can't. Sit on my foot.
Got the gardeners here. Just shut. Yeah. Thank you, bro. Yeah.
You act like I haven't lived.
All right, let's say hi to some people. Julian's here. Samuel, you're hilarious. Thomas, you're hilarious. Matt Suarez, I miss you, bro. Do we have questions? No, they're just kind of watching. They're just saying funny stuff.
Questions? I'm not against questions.
I don't even know if anyone's watching, really. Okay. Where were you? Wait, what were we talking about? Damn it. Oh,
Alien
songs.
shift.
Songs like you were saying that, we're just trying to give examples of
I mean, but that's the thing is like I have reduced all my stuff to chord blanketing so much to the point where I don't think like that. Where I'm just in this tonality and it's like a micro tune to me. Like,
I think it's great though. I mean, because you come up with really cool things, and it's like if we're all thinking the same way, you know.
yeah, but that's where I'm coming from. Is like it was weird because when I keep forgetting there's a camera, but like when I started learning, I kind of think of it as like I tried to get as much information as possible, as harmony as possible, as much as possible. It's like, okay, 2/5 altered, blah 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 blah, to the point where I'm like harmonic shaman, right? Which was like
Harmonic shaman.
like
dude,
at the
I
end,
that.
like at the end of the freaking at the end of college, like I can manipulate any tune that you wanted ever, right? But then I started realizing I was getting so caught up in the jazz math,
Yeah.
right? And it was going back to like I was playing these hits in college, and I'm playing all these killing tunes, but nobody's fucking paying attention because it doesn't connect to
It
them.
doesn't resonate.
It doesn't.
As much,
No,
yeah.
it's not even resonates at all. It doesn't resonate at all, except for the people that are either playing it or the people that are there that you know that are doing your degree. I'm not trying to impress like any of the other jazz musicians. I'm trying to talk to the person that's at the end of the coffee bar. Right? Let's be real for what this is. So, but what happened is by the time I started realizing that, I started paring everything back down.
I mean, I feel
To
like
the point where
yeah.
I'm trying to get back to a singularity, to the
Yeah.
point where I don't even consider harmony anymore.
You know what's funny is I feel like the whole era, or the era of music that we like in our modern era, we study jazz, which comes from blues, which is very, it's very simple. It's comes
It's the
from
tree.
spiritual. Yeah, exactly.
It's
But
the
my point is that
Everything's rooted in the blues.
exactly. And again, which is why I'm saying what I'm saying, but whatever. Okay. It's very simple at its core in a sense, right? And in my opinion, it's the whole concept of layering. You play major, you play minor on top. It's Jimmy, baby. So my point is that it moves on. You're in New Orleans. It builds into swing era. It builds into jazz, bebop, post bop, so on and so forth. And then it goes.
But also don't forget about bossa nova and South American influence either.
Of course.
Okay.
I mean, I'm not even there yet.
Okay.
But I mean, yeah.
Well, that's important.
I mean, yeah. I'm just saying. And then you get to the modern era where the world becomes much smaller, and the tree splits even more. But I guess it's funny because I feel like we went from like blues, mentality. It goes through the eras. You get really, bebop. It's very complex. It's like very dense. And then what happens? Well, then you kind of get this
in between.
You kind of go back. Rock and
It's
roll
like
comes
fashion-
out.
It's like fashion
You
trends.
go back to, even, the post bop stuff. It's rooted in blues. Like some of the Horace Silver. It's still complex and it's very cool. We can talk about that later. But like, you get what I'm saying? It's just kind of interesting how it like starts here, goes here, and then kind of ends up back where it started, and then now we're kind of, I don't know, it's interesting.
Well, the other thing that I have that I get a little bit worried about is the academic complex of jazz music, because jazz was originally created in clubs.
Right. And this is my point, is that I think hearing it in a certain way is more a realistic on the bandstand. Again, this is where I learned some of this from. I'm applying to this world.
Well, so going back to that, I talk about jazz being an academic thing. It's becoming an academic thing. I'm just saying, like, the most secure jobs in being a jazz musician, let's be real, is academia. Is from what I've seen, right? I love teaching.
Or unless you're killing it as an artist.
Yeah, but I'm just saying. But you get my point.
Yeah.
So you have a hell of a lot more academics. Even the heavy hitters are doing
right. But I do want to
professorships.
say one thing though. I think that education and studying jazz is part of the culture of jazz. That's how it gets passed on.
But
and those guys,
True.
You have to make a point of teaching it, because that is very much a part of the ethos of jazz.
True, but being institutionalized
100%.
is another whole
I agree.
conversation.
Which is why the jazz police are after me, because I'm offering a non-institutional perspective, and people are losing their fucking minds.
I don't know about that.
Well,
I mean,
no, but it is though, because literally and I can only speak personally.
Yeah.
My biggest growth was not after I went to school. When I went to school, I didn't know anything about jazz. I grew up in Lakeside. No one listens to jazz out there. Let's be real.
Yeah.
Okay. So I found jazz later on in life through going to school, ironically. Right.
Okay.
So, and that's how I know Ed and Mac and that's how I know all you guys, right? This whole scene. That's, it goes deep. Point is, that's how I know Omar. Omar's one of the first people I met.
Yeah.
Anyway, point is, Farhad. That's how I met Farhad at State. Anyways, so, me going through that and then coming out, and it's like when I graduated, I didn't know jack shit, bro. I didn't know anything. I couldn't hear anything, and I knew that. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. And it's like, I remember my parents were like, well, why don't you go get your master's? I'm like, I'm not going to go get my master's and not be a master at all, at least a little bit. Like, that's insane.
Yeah.
So what did I do? I went and I played because I knew the only way to learn this music is to play it and to play gigs and to interact with people and to study it and to go through the motions. And then I also realized that, there's these church guys that I know from just my world of being in whatever I'm into that play really well. And I like that style of music, you know what I mean? And it's like, I called my buddy Tim and I said, Tim, I know you're in the church scene. Or no, first Cubby got me a gig. Mm-hmm. Actually. Okay. Cubby's the reason I got a church gig. Shout out to Cubby. And then I made a phone call to someone I knew. I said, Tim, I know you know all the church guys. Like, I'm looking for another church gig, with a really good band, whatever. I'm trying to level up. And so I got this other gig where I was playing with Tejan and David White and all these church guys that most people don't know. But the point is for me musically, I made the most strides when I had the church gig because I was put into this position where they don't read, they don't speak like you learned, right? Mm-hmm. They don't write anything out. What they do is they send you YouTube videos and you learn the songs and you come and play them. And I would get slammed, bro. Like, the fact that these guys even let me play is hilarious because I would hate to go back and listen to me try and figure this shit out in the spotlight. But they were nice, man. They like taught me and I learned so much from these guys. And like, I started hearing it. I truly started hearing it. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? And I guess that's my point is like, everyone has these words and 2-5, 3-6, but I think that until you truly hear what that means, then it's just music theory. But my point is that when I went and played with these guys, like, I learned from them to speak through your instrument, and that's how they explain things. And yes, it's much harder and it takes much longer and it's much more difficult. Yeah. But the thing is that that's why they don't teach it like that at school, because you can't do it in 4 years. You can't quantify it on paper, because it's not like I'm going to give you a test with a piece of paper and then you turn in the piece of paper or you write an essay. There's none of that. It's all about playing, and I say something, you say something. I say something.
And that's one of the things that I was really happy about with the school that I went to, because it was hyper playing intensive.
That's great.
I was playing both in and out of class close to 40 to 50 hours a week minimum.
And that's how it should be. So, and like, I encourage some of my students, I'm like, guys, why do I not see any of you at the jam sessions? Like, why do none of you know who Gilbert is?
Well, and that's
but that's a problem.
But that also goes back to the oral art, and that goes back to what you and I were talking about last night, where sometimes going to a session just to listen
100%. I used to do that all the time.
Is important.
And you got to go and get slammed. You got to go bomb and forget the changes and lose your place and not know the song they call and write it down and go learn it. Like, you got to do that. Mm-hmm. Like, I don't know.
And it's just it's an important part of the growth. And it's nothing where it's like, now you're going to have these folks where they get really weird and in your face about it, and I don't condone that either.
I don't either, but you do have to learn how to deal with that. And one of my favorite things about the history of jazz is the folklore. What do we all know is the folklore of jazz? Well, it's Charlie Parker went up to go play,
got slammed.
Mm-hmm.
And
that's Charlie Parker.
So the other thing that we had is the difference of no versus with an N versus no with a K. That's important.
Look at Bobby D just dropping some fucking.
It's important, and it's not just music. It's everything. And John Murray, I saw your comment about Phrygian. Yes.
Okay, yes. Wait. Can we talk about Phrygian real quick?
Go on.
Because I don't know if I've made a video on this yet. I think I've talked about it in some of them, but I feel like Phrygian is explained all wrong. And what I mean by that is,
I'm curious to hear this.
So give me a song that is a Phrygian sound.
I mean, if you really want to do it, you could do it on any of them. That's the problem with how I conceptualize.
Okay, I know, Robert.
So give me an example.
I will give you an example.
Yeah.
There's several examples. I mean, one that comes to mind because I just saw someone say it, and that's what made me think of it, is Nardis. Okay? What?
It's literally the fourth comment.
I know, that's why I thought of
Okay.
it. Yeah. But Nardis does it. And Nardis is a little multi-layered than it seems at first. I think it has this idea and then it keeps going further, but I don't want to get into it.
Yeah.
But the idea is I started to realize like, wow, Phrygian really sounds good. And you always play it from the 6th chord. So hear me out. Listen, hear me out. I'll give you examples.
Go
Okay.
on.
Hear me out. Speak no evil.
Okay.
What is that in?
Go.
It's an E flat major. Okay. Point is it starts on C minor, and you do Bodera C minor, D flat major, sharp 11. That's what you're playing. Yeah. Now, why? When you play that your ear loves that. That sounds great, right? And there's a lot of movements of songs that do that because it sounds good. Okay. Now the point I'm saying is you never play Phrygian if we're in E flat major. You never play Phrygian from G. You don't play G, A flat. Like it just sounds like, but what I'm saying is it doesn't sound Phrygian. But the minute you play it over the 6th chord, and what ends up happening is you still play Phrygian's the 3rd mode. It's from the 3, but not of the 1 key. It's of the 4 key. You're borrowing it from that sound. Okay. Now hear me out because.
So you're approaching it as like a 7 of 4. What you're approaching?
Wait, no. I'm saying.
Where
if we're in E flat major,
yeah.
Speak no evil, C minor to D flat major, sharp 11, right?
Okay.
Okay. Now you can play C Phrygian over that, and it sounds right in it. That's essentially playing D flat Lydian sound. Yes.
Yeah.
Because what is D flat the 4th mode of?
D flat is the 4th. Oh, you're talking about that root specifically?
I'm just saying
it's
D
A
flat of A flat. Now, what is C in comparison to A flat?
Yeah, it's the Phryg.
It's the 3rd.
Yeah.
That's Phrygian.
Yeah.
My point is that all the Phrygian sounds that not all of them, but a lot of them, because I found other examples that it's like in between the cracks.
My ears don't hear that.
Well, that's fine, but I'm just saying what I hear.
Okay.
You know what I mean? So I've noticed that a lot of these sounds, like Speak No Evil, like Nardis, like Little Bee's poem, and the thing is, I did it last night, and you loved it because I do it all the time with the church guys because they love it. And when we were playing, we played Full House.
Yeah.
What did I play at the very end? And you laughed.
The 6.
I played.
You played
We're F minor. We ended on F minor, and what did I play?
Yeah.
I went up to G flat major, sharp 11, and you looked at me. You're like, yeah, that's what you did.
Well, because it's color.
But what I'm saying is that I'm very specific because I hear it so well that like I know that sounds nice to me, and that I can now I can insert it wherever I want, whenever I want, and that frees you up to be able to play these cool sounds. And the thing is that's what all these professional guys are doing. You can hear it. You hear them, and that's where I learned it. I'm just jacking it from these guys. Like you hear them play in a certain way.
You're giving them a Tchaikovsky special. Good musicians borrow, better musicians steal.
That's what I'm saying, bro.
So,
and Nardis, John's asking this. What up, John Murray? You're a legend.
Well, no. Also, Blues R Us also asked about somebody asked about Nardis earlier.
But listen, Nardis, I hear it from the 6. Go figure. Okay, it's like G major, E minor, right? You play F major, sharp 11. You best play that. Right? B7, C major, whatever. Okay. But you know what I'm saying? So like, I hear it from G or E minor, right? E minor is a 6, right? So that's how I hear it, So it's basically 6, flat 7 major, 3 dominant, 4, 2, and this is where Nardis is really layered though, because you go to my personal favorite. The church guys do it all the time. R&B does it all the time. You go to 6 major. That's why the E major's in there, and it sounds good. And not only that, they're playing like A harmonic minor. It sounds really cool. That sound.
It's basically just a harmonic extension to keep the harmony moving.
Yes, and so
yeah.
I've noticed that like a lot of Phrygian sound. Here's a church song. I always forget the name of the song, but it's a Hezekiah Walker tune because he's the best. He's great. And it's a Power Belongs to You. I forget it every time, but it does the same movement. It goes, and D'Angelo does this in Lady. E flat minor,
Yeah.
E flat over G flat.
So to answer John's question though, what key do you think Nardis is in?
I said it's G major, starts on 6.
You think it starts on 6?
100%.
Interesting. Okay.
That's what it is.
See, I hear it as one. But that's just me.
That's fine.
That's
and
just
you should though.
Yeah, and but that's the point is like I think both from time
I
to time.
do too. That's what I'm saying. I've been saying this for I don't know how long. And I'll tell you in one of my videos I say I'm not saying don't think minor 1. I'm saying do both. That's what I say.
Yeah.
If you go watch the minor 2.5 video and some of the other ones I posted, I say it in there. Why do I know? Because I fucking edited the whole thing and I spend way too much time giving out slang and secrets over here. That's taken me years to figure out.
Yeah. See, for me, I think more of just harmonic minor across the board. I'm not saying I think it's actually mixed tonality depending on how you're feeling on that day.
100%.
So
100%. I've noticed these harmonic tendencies and I'm telling you, you'll see it. Like Power Belongs to You or whatever the Hezekiah tune is. It goes E flat.
Yeah.
It goes be do da E major, E flat, da, E major, and they're in G flat.
Yeah.
Because they play, you hear them, they resolve. It's like,
yeah.
so anyway.
No, that's fair. That's fair. No, like it's funny because like I don't even think about like what key the tune is in anymore because it's like I think of it from a conceptualization of like the person wrote it this way for a specific texture because I'm like synesthetic with texture because I'm colorblind. For those of you,
I forgot Bobby D's colorblind.
Colorblind as hell. So for me, it's texture is what creates the feeling.
But see, I love this, man, because I think there's many ways to hear and view these things. And that's what's so great. It's like, I learned so much from going to school and hanging out with all these jazzers. I love that music. You know what I mean? I love it. I've just drawn towards it. You know what I mean? So it's like, but I also love other stuff. I love other music.
Yeah.
And I've noticed there's certain tendencies and I've learned from that.
Well, and again, it goes back to when we started at the very beginning of this podcast. It's theory. And this is Western, and this is from the tiny ass. I'm not talking the McDonald's pipeline to refreshment straw. I'm talking like the little tiny shoestring cardboard ones that you get in this state, right? Where you really can't see anything. This is from the tiny lens of Western music, common practice, theory.
Right, but that's what we're talking about.
No, I know. I'm just it's a full disclaimer.
I know,
it's
but
like
people
you should
are
have a little red banner at the bottom, like
bro. Trust me, I have an oud in there, and it has no frets on it, and I know how to play short somewhat because Farhad showed me a little bit.
Your trace was the first one I've ever seen.
Well, yeah. Anyways,
well, I mean, it's Ohio. Let's be real. There's not a whole lot of traces in Ohio. Right? The ultimate flyover.
You know,
state.
It's like, you know, and it's funny because I went and saw Farhad the other day when I posted that because I saw him.
Yeah.
But it was funny because we sat down and we were playing and he like made me play. He's like, come on. I was like, all right. So we sat down and played. And
you got instigated to play.
And he showed, you know, we were just playing some microtonal stuff. And I sat there and I looked at him. I was like, man, I kind of miss these sounds. Like there's certain blue notes that we just don't have that they have.
Yeah, because of quarter tonal.
But it really
stuff.
It really makes you feel it and hear it in a different way. And I was like, I had missed it.
Yeah,
that was like nostalgia. I was like, oh man, I missed this.
Well, and then you deal with nays and everything else.
I mean, bro, you should hear my mood play.
No, I have.
I mean, it's
nuts.
But I will say that some of the tendencies they have still is the way we hear it. You know, 1, 4, whatever. But the thing is it's much different style of playing and way of hearing it, which is really cool because it's the whole tetrachords and they stack these sounds and the way it's just a whole nother.
Now, when you
approach.
talk about tetrachords, what are you talking about?
Okay, so
that?
what I mean by this is
because my tetrachord I think is a little bit different than how you think about it.
Maybe, yeah. It's weird. They're just words. I didn't really understand what he meant at first when I was first learning it.
Fair play, but yeah.
Essentially, it's just you have, you know, a series of 4 notes, you know, and they're in order. So they may be, you know, a minor, half minor scale, and then whatever. It's just like
a cluster.
Yeah, they're just like, so it would be like, let's say C, D,
like F and A or something.
No, let's say it's like a minor sound. I don't, whatever you want. Let's say it's like C, D, E flat, F, G, let's say.
Okay.
But
yeah,
the D is not a D.
No, it's like
so when you play a fretted instrument and you play a minor third, you can play the C to E flat.
Yeah.
If you physically don't even think about it, but just physically just play what feels nice because you're on a fretless instrument, you just play the middle of that interval. It's not going to be on a piano or guitar.
No, it's low.
It's the half step above is sharp. Yeah. Anyways, point is that that's the note. Yeah. And they apply that by stacking things in different ways, and it's just interesting. Anyways. But
no cage fights today. No cage fights today.
Get in the.
I left my swords at home.
I don't know who this Samuel guy is, but he's funny.
I love it, Sam. No, I left my swords at home. So
He said earlier. He said, "Hey, fuck ElectricLouieLand. I want to hear acoustic
Louie." Right. So.
Anyways, what
But
time
yeah.
is it? Oh shoot, we might have to wrap up soon, dude.
Oh, dude, I'm having too much fun.
I know. We'll do this more.
But you're like, I talk about harmonic slipping, and that's like how I approach harmony. So I'll look through permutations of like a chord, right? Because I'm a linear guy, right? All I got are these.
Of course, yeah.
I got an inline 6. That's all I got for you
I
car
get you.
guys out there as a joke. But how I think about it is like, so say you have.
Keep going. I
gonna
gotta
back
open this window.
Yeah, go. So like, when I'm talking about stuff, it's like you can talk about. Like, let's just use a 2-5 for example, just to kind of give you some conceptualized stuff of like what I'm looking at. So, like 2-5 and my F, right? Right? Pretty straightforward. But there's other pieces with that too, where you can actually imply like major flat 6 to create an altered sound. And I'm not going to be like, oh, it's altered sharp 9, sharp 5. It's just, no, I'm just playing an A flat off the G, right? Right? And you're actually implying that type of approach. Even you can go off what is that, Phrygian? There's that. So there's all this way where you talk about like where Eric was talking about like modality, right? That's a just straight case of modality there. I'm trying to stay inside that sequence.
Yeah.
But then you've also got where I'll work inside of so
I like that.
Well, so basically I'm using 3, but I'm creating a major tendency off the 3rd of that chord. So if I'm playing in C, so, or you can use it off a G, and then you have the permutations of, do you use the G as the 7th? Do you use it as the root? Do you use it as the 3rd? Do you use it as a 6th? Right? So you can play that game. That's where my head is when I think harmony.
Okay.
So you talk about, well, it's 1, it's 6, it's 2. It's like, I don't give a shit.
I think it's great though.
It's C.
Yeah,
right?
100%.
And so like some guys have heard me do this on like a break.
Of course. Yeah.
I'm implying I'm taking the octave and I'm splitting it into a fully diminished scale, so even minor
It sounds
thirds,
like thirds, yeah.
minor thirds,
Yeah.
or going down, you use the Coltrane matrix or major thirds.
Of course.
And those are all your entry points. So basically all that will divert back to C if you want it to.
Yeah.
That's all I'm doing. That's my approach.
I think those are great. You know, it's all great, man.
Yeah.
Like I think, any
And
idea,
then
any of those, like to get more ideas. That's the whole point.
And then you can imply chromaticism to create like side slips to get in and out of harmonies and do things like that. So, but you really got to understand the tune and understand where those key centers are, right?
Yeah.
And really kind of do that. So that's where I am.
I love it. Love it, man.
That's where we are.
All right. I hate to cut this short, but I gotta go. I gotta practice some stuff because I gotta rehearse.
Boo this man. Boo. He's a good dude. Hey,
Robbie, you're the man.
This was fun.
Thanks for coming.
And
we're playing
again,
some tunes.
Again, like we always talk about, like, I mean, I know Lou's going at the minor one doesn't exist.
It's funny because it's pure clickbait. I feel like people
at the end of the day, none of it really exists. It's like us trying to find shapes in clouds. It's because our brains are perceiving it a certain way. Our biological computer is trying to figure shit out.
Right.
That's really what it comes down to. If you really want to have a party, we need to, the next time we do this, we need to talk about that harmony is actually high frequency rhythm.
Oh yeah, this guy is on.
That's my.
You guys hated me. Wait till you hear this.
It's
I love it.
It's fun. So we'll talk about that next time. But yeah, so here's your too long didn't read. Your too long didn't. What was it? Too long didn't resolve. For
wait, what?
Yeah, your minor one. Too long didn't resolve. Your TLDR.
I don't know what the hell you're
Never
talking
mind.
about. I'm so lost.
It's okay. See.
All right. If you're here watching, say hi real quick so we can say what up. I had to read. I don't know who's watching, so just comment real quick. We'll say hi to you guys.
Sorry, we had to reset because
my computer froze. I don't know what's going
internet.
on here. I'm plugged in direct actually, so I have good I have good internet. But.
Yeah, right. See, John, there you go.
Anything. So John said anything can be in any key if you justify it well enough. I agree.
It goes back to Miles, where he even said, he goes, a note is 100%. It's 20% the note and 80% the motherfucker playing it.
I agree. But yeah,
So,
I mean, what he's saying is,
yeah,
you can approach it in whatever way you want by justifying it. I think he's right.
It works.
That sounds great.
Yeah,
all right, so John's the only one watching. Cool. What up, John?
Good to see you.
Keep shredding. John's killing it. When you're back, hit me up. We'll play.
Right.
Matt Suarez, you're the man.
Good to see you, buddy.
I got to call you, bro. I think you called me, and you left me a voicemail, and I forgot to call you back. Albert. What up, Albert? Albert, what's up, man? Who else we got? Get the gloves on. You guys, look at these guys are violent. These people are violent, bro. Just let us fight. I like to fight What up, Samuel? Matt, I'm going to call you later, bro.
Okay. That's all, folks.
Okay. Thank you guys for watching. We're gonna do some more of this, and I hope some of these videos help you guys. I'm just totally playing with you all. I just love getting a rise at everyone by saying no such thing as minor one. Cracks me up. Blues Are Us. What's up, man? And let's see here. We'll do this again. I'm gonna try and think of. I'm gonna get some other people on just for.
Yeah, you should.
I mean, I've already had. You guys should watch some of the other podcasts. There's some cool people on already. I'm trying to feature some of the guys in SD.
Asking to play a tune.
What?
You gotta give the people what they want.
No, I gotta go, bro.
Okay.
I gotta go.
Hey,
I'll see you guys next time. Thank you, Rob.
Hey, pleasure. Thanks for joining us, guys. Appreciate you. Where can we find you while you're playing?
Are you talking to me?
Yeah, I'm talking to you.
What do you mean? They're on my YouTube.
Okay. Cool.
My website.
Yeah,
it's all there.
Tell them what's going on.
It's all there, bro.
Yeah, and if you got questions, feel free to hit me up on Instagram, guys, at Robert Dove Music. And then also, I'm going to be back in San Diego in September playing with this goon again. So don't be afraid to reach out. I'm happy to answer any and all questions. We're all on the same journey. It's just a matter of how far along the path we are. I'm still trying to figure it out.
All right. It's all love. We'll see you guys. Have a good one.
Be well.